many things that they might seem like a negative thing, but lots of positive things come out of it. And Allah mentions this in the Quran as well, and vice versa. Sometimes we look at things and we think that this is really good for me, but it can have the opposite effect. So out of all this lockdown and virus, many children, many people have learned many good things. Lots of hearts have been united, lots of communities have been united, lots of outreach work had been going on, and many other things have been happening. So I requested the world to come forward, the children, that yes, you can put your thoughts and ideas and suggestions. And one of the main criteria was, apart from putting down the experience of lockdown, was what lessons have you learned? And this was despite there wasn't there was some a lot of advertisement locally, but internationally, despite the minimum advertisement, we still have had, as you very rightly said, that the book has over 250 pages and many beautiful. I think every single entry that has come through, I would consider them to be a winner itself, just by entering and emailing and sending forth their entry, whatever they have wrote. And then I would request everybody to download and go through those stories, those amazing, awesome, wonderful, regardless of how the handwriting is, regardless of any spelling errors or not, but the thoughts that the children have put through are really, really amazing and awesome, and we all can learn lessons from them. For example, many children had said in the class to me as well that, "Oh, teacher, it's not about winning or losing, but we want to be part of this." And some children have wrote in their entries as well that, regardless, it's not about winning or losing. And the prizes weren't, really huge prizes like you're going to win a £2,000 Umrah package or whatever. There were minimum prizes, but, the inspiring thing, the children were not really, of course everybody wants to win something, but it was not all about just winning something, but it was about wanting to be part of it and wanting my work to go far and wide, wanting other people to be inspired from the work and wanting people to learn from the work. And I encourage, of course, children locally, and we've had entries from South Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Trinidad, from Qatar, from Pakistan, and many other countries, and Indonesia and other places as well. And inshallah, in the future we'll get even more. But, this was a golden opportunity for children in Wolverhampton, in Sunday school and other places. One example that I give, and why I really give emphasis to these kind of things, one principle is if we don't encourage our children, we don't encourage our future generation to become leaders, have the skills of a leadership and to be role models, then who is? Nobody's going to come knocking on our doors and give our children the opportunity. So we need to give them the opportunity. We need to give them the platform. We need to give them the stage. That is one thing. The other thing is that, what parents and children should be thinking, that these golden opportunities do not come knocking on our doors every other day. When we are given a chance, when we get a chance, we should go for it. We should not lose this opportunity. And, there's many examples that we can find around the world, but one unique example that I give normally to the children as well is that, when we talk of a great Qari, who was the best Quran reciter, every single person around the world will, straight away, they will mention Qari Abdul Basit, rahimahullah. The Qari Abdul Basit, he became world famous, world renowned. How did he become world famous? There's a documentary which is available on YouTube, and, we should learn from that as well. The documentary, in short, what happened was, there used to be a lot of Qiraat conferences where people would gather, big Qurras from around Egypt. They would gather and come and recite, and many hundreds and thousands of people would flock to listen to the Quran recitation. That was and still is the norm in Egypt until today. So on one occasion, there was going to be a really big gathering where hundreds and thousands of people were going to come, and a big Qari was going to come and recite Quran. But what happened was that on the way getting to the destination, the Qari got stuck somewhere, and the organizers were getting a bit worried that the people are going to start talking, and so what shall we do? So all of a sudden, one of the organizers thought of an idea that, let's get these small children to read until the big Qari comes. There's a delay. So they knew Qari Abdul Basit was a student of Qiraat. They got him that, can you please go onto the stage just to fill in the gap, until the big Qari comes. Can you go on the stage and start reading? And as soon as he started reading, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, everybody was just in awe and gobsmacked when listening to his beautiful and awesome recitation as a small child. And this opportunity, had he let this go and say, no, I don't want to go, I'm too afraid, I don't want to go, I'm scared, what's going to happen? No, he went silently and he took the stage and he took the audience by shock and awe. And that day onwards, the rest is all history. He became world famous. People wanted to know who this child was, the talent. They wanted to grab hold of this, and they made him world famous. And he was such a humble person, but he got the opportunity, he took it on, and he was brought forth. Similarly, these opportunities of, displaying our talents, displaying the skills that we have, it doesn't come every day. For example, one of the students, if you take a look at the children that have come first, second, and third, and then we've got beautiful runners-up. Originally, the prizes were only going to be first, second, and third. But because of the efforts that the children had put, the awesome and amazing pieces of work, the inspiring piece of work that they've done, we had to increase the prices. We had no choice. Of course, we would love to try and reward each and every single person, but we have rewarded them by putting their work together tirelessly and sending it back around the world and saying that, oh, children, look, this is what our children have done, amazing work. So if you look at the work and see how wonderful, beautiful handwriting, inspiring poems, pictures, and everybody's done. Now the schools, those schools that the children belong from, those schools are celebrating their students' work. And how amazing is that? Because normally students within the class, they do wonderful work, but it doesn't get recognized. No other people can see it. But this is just a kind of a bit of icing on the cake, that, just a kind of a drop in the ocean, that I know there's so much wonderful talent out there. We want to display it. We want to celebrate it. And those children, those people that have not been able to participate in this occasion for whatever reason, because it was laziness or thought, oh no, it's not going to go too far, or had done it but didn't email it or whatever. Inshallah, we hope that they will truly be inspired to take part in the next time, because what happens, it's not always, the saying is that it's not always what you know, but it is who you know as well. Is this kind of material where people outside around the world seek talented children, whether they are writers or whether they are speakers or whatever, and then they kind of grasp hold of that and they get in touch and want to promote these kind of talents. So in the future, inshallah, I can just hint and say that there will be another competition coming up. I won't be able to say all the details at the moment, but look out for this competition that will be coming up next month. But at the same time, anywhere else, wherever you get an opportunity to take part in anything, remember the story of Qari Abdul Basit. Think of these inspiring words that children have put forth and has gone around the world. Read these stories, read them, and see that, you probably will think that, oh, I could have done better than that, or, oh, I didn't know that other children can do so much amazing work, and it'll inspire you to really put your foot down and, put all those talents together, all those skills together, and polish up and, really do a great performance and presentation that will take you far and wide in the world, inshallah.
Jazakallah Maulana, you answered a lot of my questions I wanted to ask. But thank you for your time. Thank you for calling in and inspiring the children that you go to your madrasa, and then extending the inspiration to the UK and the world. If those people who would like to find out more about the PDF booklet that's out, is it right? It's on your website, giftformuslims.com. If you can just confirm which one the website is.
Yeah, .com.
.com, is it? So giftformuslims.com, and it's on the website is on the Young Writers competition. Well, thank you very much for your time. I have studio guests in my studio here. So inshallah we will speak again, and hopefully we will let the listeners know about the other up and coming competitions that you have, and they can enter within
inshallah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Jazakallah. Take care.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Right. That was Maulana, who is a teacher. He's an author of Gift for Muslims and he's Imam of Birmingham Central Mosque as well. Right. I want to go to and have a quick chat with our live studio guest. I want to start and remind everybody we have a young chap called Ismail Brown with his dad, who, for me, I was inspired by what Ismail has been up to. How old are you, Ismail?
I am 11 years old.
Right. You're 11 years old, and what inspired me is about your wrestling. So, if I can get started with you and ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind, and then we'll see what's happening after that. So, you're 11 years old, and what first got you into wrestling?
Really, my dad got me into wrestling when I was young.
Okay. So, Dad, give us a little bit of a add to that. How did this happen then?
Yeah, so basically, I was doing wrestling myself, and I seen how much dedication you need. It is hard work, and I thought this will build the character of my son if I get him into something like this, where if you can wrestle, then I believe, and you take that mentality into anything, I believe it'll mold his personality.
Fantastic. So, Dad, you're a local born and bred chappie, right? Am I understanding that you are from Heath Park? You went to go to Heath Park?
Yes, I did.
So fair enough. I've got a bit of a my eyes are opening. If you can see on the cameras, I used to go to Heath Park. So what year did you kind of go?
I can't remember the years, but I remember I was older than Uthman.
Uthman being my brother, yeah.
Yeah, Uthman was, and I remember him in school.
Okay, so
I think he was a year younger than me.
Okay, fair enough. So who was the head teacher at the time?
Mr. Selkirk.
Mr.
Yeah,
Selkirk.
when I first started, it was Mr. Cade.
Mr. Cade. Oh, I was Mr. Cade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mr. Cade.
And then
when
Mr. Selkirk came.
took over. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Right. So what made you get into wrestling? How did you get involved?
Well, it is quite a long story, but just to break it down, I got into martial arts maybe 15 years ago, and it was a way for me to focus my energies and my competitive side, competitive energies into something. So I first started with boxing, moved on to MMA. And while in MMA, because it's mixed martial arts, you have to be proficient in many other martial arts, like saying boxing, kickboxing, Thai boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So I decided to go to these different martial arts to their schools and learn them, and then bring them back into my MMA to make my game better. I went to wrestling, and I thought, this is such a difficult sport, but it was so rewarding. You know, you put all that hard work in, and then you see the benefits of your efforts. So that's how I got into wrestling, really. It was through mixed martial arts.
So what was your biggest achievement within wrestling?
My one? Yeah.
Ismail, what's yours?
My biggest achievement in wrestling was becoming British champion in my age group.
MashaAllah. Tell us more.
I don't exactly remember the year, but I do know it was like very hard then, and my fights were just very tiring, and I would just run out of breath super quick, but I would keep going.
So, Dad, tell me a bit more. So he became the British champion.
Yeah, so I remember the first time I entered him into the British Championships, he became third, and he lost to some very good wrestlers. And the year after, again, I can't remember the exact years, I entered him in and he wiped the floor with the kids, to be honest, and that's the truth. So he's a two-time British champion in his weight class of 22 kilograms. And obviously there would be another British Championships this year, but because of the COVID situation, everything has been put on hold.
MashaAllah.
So what are your aims and goals within the sport, Ismail?
My aims and goals are to be like my dad. I would just love to keep going and compete in lots of different places in the world.
Okay, so how many times of a week do you train?
I train 5 times a week.
5.
Yeah.
And where do you train?
I train Wolverhampton Wrestling Club.
So there's different places he trains. Like for example, Wolverhampton Wrestling Club, which is just down the road.
Okay.
That have kids sessions on, and also adult sessions which I attend. There's a Chechen brother we train with in Birmingham. It's called Salman. It's not really a gym, but he's a very experienced coach, and we train with him on a Sunday. And also we do training at home. So when we have a little time, we'll just go over some techniques and just keep on drilling the techniques. He also does other sports as well, so that also includes into his training.
So, Ismail, what other sports do you do then? Tell us.
My other sports are rugby, judo, and a bit of gymnastics.
Ah.
What is judo?
Judo is it's kind of like a wrestling, but when I first got into judo, it was kind of confusing because I wouldn't be able to go for the legs while standing up.
So yeah, the rules are just slightly different in judo. So it is wrestling, but you have like some garments on, like a karate, a gi as we call it. So you have to wear the gi, and the rules are just slightly different. So you cannot go for the legs, you cannot attack the legs in judo, and other small differences, but they are very closely related.
Thank you very much. And so, Ismail, I'm going to ask you something different now. How did you spend your Ramadan? Because obviously the COVID, maybe not being able to get to the mosque and get out and about. How did you spend your COVID?
I spent Ramadan with my dad praying at night, eating at night, just not eating throughout the day, and just keep repeating that. It was just like a normal day, really.
Okay, so in your house, Dad, you just kind of maintain the same kind of routine, and you obviously have the flexibility. The children have to go to school, and he was up at Seri and Iftar, got you involved. So is that how you kind of planned it?
Alhamdulillah, it was everything happens for a reason, and the good thing out of COVID was that he never had to. For me, it's okay going to work and fasting and coming back and training. I'm used to that. But to get him into the full fasting routine and not be at school, it was a lot easier to keep my eyes on him and to give him that encouragement and not have to, if he was at school, he'd probably see other people eating at lunchtime and he would be hungry. So yeah, like I said, everything happens for a reason, and some good came out of this, and we got to get closer to Allah in this time. So
fantastic. We're now coming up to our first break. It's time really flies. After the break, we will continue with our guest, Brother Nathaniel Brown and Ismail, and we have Abdullah who's going to come and give us some interesting facts. So just stay tuned. We are airing live on Facebook. If you want to drop us a message or a quick hi, we're on WhatsApp as well. We are taking live calls. If you'd like to give us a call, that'd be fantastic. So we'll catch you on the other side. Stay with us, and inshallah we will continue our very interesting interview with the Brown family. I'll see you on the other side.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Ramadan Radio with your co-host Fatima Malik. Today we're going to be talking about Abdullah is going to give us a few facts. Over to Abdullah.
So today I'm going to give you a few facts about the beautiful creations of Allah, animals, which Sumaya talked about last week when Allah said be and the world was made. Animals. Animals live in almost every corner of the world. They swim in the oceans, walk or run across the land, and fly through the air. The biggest animal on land is the African elephant. It weighs as much as a farm tractor. Did you know you would...
what tractor?
Farm
Tractor.
Farm tractor.
Wow, that's heavy, isn't it?
Did you know you would need a microscope to see the smallest animals? Animal groups. We divide animal groups into two main groups: vertebrates, animals with backbones, and invertebrates, animals without backbones. Within each group there are many kinds of animals. For example, roundworms and sponges are two different kinds of invertebrates, and lions and pelicans are two different kinds of vertebrates. Biggest of all, the blue whale is the biggest animal on Earth. An average female weighs as much as 120 tons and is around 26 meters in length. Lots of insects. Insects are the biggest group of animals. There is more than 1 million different kinds. All adult insects have 6 legs and most can fly. Can I read a riddle? Give a riddle.
So riddles are quite interesting. What if you guys know the answer for the riddle? Abdullah's going to share it. What do they need to do? They can WhatsApp the answer on a WhatsApp number. What's your WhatsApp number?
07 440 420 432.
So give us your riddle then.
I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?
Ismail, any idea?
No.
No, because Dad, look at Dad's face, yeah? Look at Nathaniel sitting there. He's like thinking, he was actually thinking what the answer can be. Abdullah, give it again, please.
I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?
So, okay, that's what we have. Abdullah doesn't want to share the answer. Abdullah, we will obviously ask. We will ask our audience who are listening in. If you know the answer, give us a message and we'll read your answer straight on the air.
There's another riddle, but I'm gonna read it later.
Little bit later.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you remember last week? And well, actually, brother, I don't know if you're aware. In the last over Ramadan, we had an ongoing competition, and the reason the competition was ongoing, Ismail, was that nobody knew the answer, and it was a very simple competition. It was to win a free MOT. Abdullah, do you remember the competition? What was it? And because me and Abdullah actually helped sort this out. Go on. What was the competition?
There's a competition. You have to find 5 of the Ramadan radio posters, which is
so
back there.
if you're on Facebook, you can see Abdullah's pointing to the poster behind brother there, brother Nathaniel and Abdullah there. So Abdullah, 5 posters. What was the question then?
They were hidden all around Wolverhampton, and if you find all 4 of them, then you win free MOT.
Free MOT. So they weren't necessarily hidden, were they? They were in plain sight.
Yeah.
And we went out and we put them on. Can you tell our audience, because we have an official winner now? We have one winner a brother who has messaged us. He's been very, very kind of involved with our competitions throughout the month of Ramadan, and he's won. So Abdullah, tell us what we did and where did we put them, so the audience knows.
There's one by Bilal Masjid.
Well, on the gates of Bilal Masjid, that's right.
There's one by the Kurdish Masjid.
So the Kurdish Ronauki Masjid on Staveley Road.
There's one by the MOT, one of the MOT.
So the people who are sponsoring our show, Eurofit, the competition, they have on their Stafford Road, they have the poster there on their gates.
And I think Park Village Education Centre.
Park Village Education Centre, that's right. So that is on Cannock Road. Ismail, did you ever see any of the posters?
No, I've not seen any.
I can understand why, because you don't drive. Yeah?
No, I don't drive.
Yeah, Dad, did you see any?
No.
No, no, because you know.
I'm concentrating on the road.
Yes,
Yusuf, that's what.
that's what it is. So that's correct. He's on the road, but maybe he wasn't looking and he didn't realize they popped up. Now, audience,
There's one near our house. The
Yeah.
Park Village Education
yeah,
is near our house.
near the Cannock Road. And so basically, can you tell our listeners how we went with a lot of struggle to put them up? Can you remind them what did we do?
Oh, we used these, what is it
Cable
called?
ties?
Cable ties. And you know the Kurdish masjid? It kept them flying off.
Yeah,
So then we had to put it on again.
yeah, because
Because it was very windy on the day we did it.
yeah, it was very windy on
And
that day.
we ran out of those cable things.
Cable ties, yes.
Cable ties.
So anyway, it was month of Ramadan. We were all over the place, but alhamdulillah, we did get them up, and from there we decided to start a competition. The competition wasn't for the posters, to be fair. The competition came afterwards, afterthought, wasn't it, Abdullah? We
Yeah.
thought, you know what? Let's get awareness. Let's get people looking. As and when slowly the lockdown eased, we get everybody out and about, and as they're going to shop, because look, a lot of people were going through Staveley Road, picking up naan, shop, going to local supermarkets there, and people driving around Cannock Road or going to work or whatever, and they were, people were spotting them. Right? Can I get back to our lovely young guest, who we have in the studio with his dad? We have Ismail and we have brother Nathaniel, and they've been today been in our show discussing wrestling and how young Ismail has been inspired by his father today and what he's been up to. He's not just a wrestler though; he is more than a wrestler. He's been doing other sports and sports like Abdullah. Do you remember what sport he told us?
Rugby.
And then another one where you flip people over.
I can't remember.
Judo. So he
Judo.
does judo, rugby, and what was the third one, Ismail?
Just a bit of gymnastics.
Gymnastic. That's right. So tell me, how long have you been doing those sports?
I've done rugby and judo for I think, just 5 years.
Wow, I did judo back in Heath Park. You know that?
Yeah, I remember they used to teach the judo, didn't
Yeah,
they?
and I enjoyed it. The throwing somebody over the shoulder.
Yeah.
What's that move called, Ismail?
Is it Ogoshi?
Oh, Sianagi.
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 Say it a bit louder.
Sianagi.
So tell me, how does that move work?
It's kind of like you grab the belt behind them.
No, that's it. Sianagi is like the arm throw.
Oh, you just like
Yeah.
dig your arm up their armpit and then just like get your back into their front and just throw them over.
And then you have to roll over and you have to slap the mat. That
Yeah,
way,
the break falls,
The
yeah.
break falls, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you guys are watching, there's a lot of arm movement happening in the studio, and we're getting a little bit of a demonstration from Ismail. So if you're on Facebook, we'll give you a bit of a wave, and you can see that live on our Facebook page. Now, so I enjoyed it. I didn't realize that a little move gave you so much power.
Yeah,
You can,
yeah.
somebody larger than you can flip them over.
Well, this is the whole point of, especially with judo. It's translated to mean the easy way, and it's made by a guy in Japan for smaller people to defend themselves really, and to use the opponent's strength against them to then get them to the floor. So this is one of the things. It's all about technique, and this is the same with wrestling as well. It's all about the body position and perfecting your technique to get someone down to the floor, which is a lot harder than you think when that person doesn't want to go to the floor.
Yeah, because we were in a control environment. When we're learning it, it's control. So the other person not plays along, goes along with the move.
For sure.
And yeah, then they flip over. And then first time it made me dizzy. And then I did like the break fall thing. You know what I mean? But I didn't do too much. It was just through the school, and I think I left it. Maybe I should have picked it up. I did karate instead, but yeah, judo I didn't.
No, I think that martial arts is very good for kids to get into. It gives them discipline, focuses them, and also, like, again, why I got Ishmael into it is because if you can develop those skills and compete, because I've competed myself, I know the mental side of it and what it develops. And if you can do that you can do anything else really. You can go into any other situation and have confidence to know that you're going to try your best. You're going to put your best on the table. And if it doesn't come off the way you hoped it to go, you're going to go back to the drawing board and you're going to try again. So again, this is this is one of the reasons why I put Ishmael into it, because I knew that it's difficult and life is difficult, and you don't always win, and it's how you pick yourself up after that loss and try and make yourself better. And these are the life skills I'm trying to get into him.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. And if you could, those listeners, it's a life skill I think we should instill in all our children. Get them all involved in such sports, and it gives us discipline and focus. Ismail, you mentioned those 3 sports. Which one would you choose if you had to?
I would choose judo.
Wow, that's surprising. I never knew. I never expected that.
Breaking news: Ismail choose judo. live on Radio Ramadan. Why is that, Ismail?
I would choose judo because I think I'm decent at wrestling and at the sport I'm doing currently. But I've done judo. I haven't focused on judo for that long.
So, Ismail, what's been your toughest match?
My toughest match was against a guy called Harry.
No, I would think it's the one against Amir the other day.
Oh,
because I think the toughest matches is when you're against someone who's very similar level than you. Then it pushes you. It pushes you to a next level. If someone is a lot better than you, then the win. What else can you do? But if someone is the same level and you're fighting it out, it's very close. So I think your toughest match was against Amir.
How old was he? Same age as you?
I think he's
I
just
think he's 10.
a bit younger. Yeah, he's a bit younger. Dagestani brother, Amir, very nice brother, and his family are from I think it's from Sheffield. But yeah, very nice, and they got even though they're very nice off the mat when they're on there, they got a very competitive mindset, and neither one of them wants to lose. But I think that was a very good match, which he lost by 1 point. But that was very tough, and is a character builder. Again, I think it's a character builder.
So, what's your toughest match?
Man, I've had loads of toughest matches. But to be honest, out of all the sports I've done, like I said, boxing, MMA, the toughest matches I've had are in wrestling, and because they're so exerting. I couldn't think off the top of my head which.
There's not one that stands out.
There's not one.
But there's been, I suppose, there's been a number, and then
yes, because in a wrestling tournament you have quite a few matches in the day, just so it is very long and mentally draining. So just the whole competing in wrestling is quite tough.
Fantastic. Can I just come back to you in a minute, and I guess finish off with Abdullah? He's got a few more facts that he wanted to share. So Abdullah, if you can do that for us.
Animal behavior. Behavior describes what animal does, its actions and movements. Some animals, like worms and slugs, have very simple behavior. A worm does a little except try to avoid light, dryness, and being touched, and will just eat its way through soil. Other animals, especially birds and mammals, have complicated behavior, learned and not learned. An orb-web spider can make its intricate web without watching or learning from other spiders. Its behavior is built in from the start, rather than learned later. This is called instinct. Many animals, including spiders, insects, and frogs, have instinctive behavior. Clever behavior. Some animals can use tools. The Egyptian vulture picks up a stone in its beak to use as a hammer. It then smashes open an egg so it can eat what's inside. But if the real egg is replaced with a painted wooden one, the vulture still tries to keep smashing it. After all, the bird may not be so clever after all. The cleverest birds are probably the members of the parrot and crow family. Did you know some gorillas talk to human guards who protect them from thieves using the sign language they invented themselves? Breeding behavior. In the breeding season, male mammals like impulse, deers, and goats clash heads and fight each other. This behavior is called rooting. The strongest, healthiest male wins the contest and is able to mate with the females. This means his offspring are likely to be strong and healthy too. Animal habitats. Animals live in hot deserts and on snowy mountain tops, in thick jungles and on wide open grasslands. Where an animal or group of animals live is called a habitat. For example, the hot, steamy rainforest of South Africa is the habitat of jaguars, monkeys, and parrots. The frozen landscapes of Antarctica is the habitat of penguins. Working animals. Across the world, people and animals work together to do different jobs. In Asia, elephants carry loads, and sheepdogs are used all over the world to round up sheep. In the cold, polar bears can survive on the frozen land and on icy cold waters of the Antarctic. Their thick coat of fur protects them from the cold. A thick layer of fat below the skin also helps them keep warm. Hot and dry. Animals that live in very hot places, such as the fennec fox, often have long ears and tails to help their bodies lose heat. Animals and sports. For thousands of years, people have trained horses to take part in races between horse-drawn chariots and between horse-drawn chariots were between horse chariots were held in ancient Rome. Horse races have been held in Europe since the early 1600s. And now the last riddle is: I have a little house in which I live all alone. It has no doors or windows, and if I want to go out, I must break through the wall. What am I?
Okay, can you your first riddle as well, just to those who forgot. So you got two riddles from Abdullah today, and if you know the answer, you can WhatsApp us on our studio number 074 440 420 432.
I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?
Right, thank you very much. So can I now go back to our two young guests, one young and one not so young, younger than me, so that's okay, it's still good. So Ismail, earlier we were talking about your toughest match and your dad's toughest match as well. So once you have tough matches, you obviously learn a lot from there. How do you prepare? What happens next then after your match? If you had a tough match, what happens behind the scenes?
Well, after I would come off the mat, I would just have a quick drink and I'd probably train. I would just practice a few techniques with my dad before the next round and just practice on what I couldn't keep up well.
So you evaluate yourself. Does your dad get involved? Does your coach get involved? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
That they tell you, you should have done this way. And if they find any sort of, would you say weakness or...
weakness. But again, every time I'm watching his matches, I'm always trying to see, okay, you lost points here, or you've done this a bit wrong. And then we sit down together. Usually I record them. I'll show him where. And I say, okay, in this situation, we do this. In this situation, we do this. So, it's that self-evaluation, which is very good for self-improvement. If you can see where your weaknesses are, then you can then make yourself better and not make that same mistake again. So, yeah.
No, thank you very much. We have for the first riddle, Abdullah, remind us your riddle again.
First one.
Yeah.
I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?
So Inaya says fire. Is that right?
I'm not going to tell because then other people might know.
Okay, so we've had one or two answers. Okay, fair enough. If you the one and the second riddle.
Second one, and I also have a shout out for someone.
Go on then.
First, let me read the second one. I have a little house in which I live all alone. It has no doors or windows, and if I want to go out, I must break through the wall. What am I?
Okay, fantastic. And your
And the
shout out?
shout out is to Taha Kamil Khan.
Taha. Yes,
Taha Kamil Khan.
Taha is a listener. He's one of our young listeners, and thank you very much for the shout out, Abdullah. So back to you guys. How, Ismail, what happens? How do you react when you lose a match?
I just feel kind of sad at the end that I've lost, but I know that I need to try better and watch how I can improve on my weaknesses.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think Ishmael is very competitive, very competitive. He doesn't like losing, and yeah, he does get upset. So I have to put a hand over him sometimes and console him and just tell him, sometimes you can't win them all, and this is the reason why I put him in these situations, because in wrestling there is no 50-0 record like in boxing with Mayweather.
Yeah.
You're always going to find someone who is going to beat you, or they're just a bit better on that day. You can make a mistake and get pinned in 1 second. So this is, again, it's kind of hard situations to put your kids in, but this is why I put them in these situations, because you can't win them all, and if you do lose, how can we rise up and make ourselves better? So yeah.
Ismail, question for you again here. What is it like to win a medal?
I feel very proud of how my dad has helped me through like the techniques I've won over by getting a pin. And that's how I feel. I feel very happy and proud.
And how many have you got?
How many trophies or medals?
Medals, trophies, and what have you won? How many have you got?
I've got one bronze, I think, 9 silvers,
MashaAllah.
and I think 11 golds.
MashaAllah.
Are you inspired, Abdullah?
Yeah.
So you and Ismail are the same age? Yeah?
Yeah.
You're both 11 years old.
Yeah.
And what an inspiration. So this young fella, he could probably flip me over, has won so many medals, but the main thing is participation.
Yeah, for sure.
I seen somewhere saying that 80% of success is turning up, right?
That's true.
So if you didn't turn up, you wouldn't have participated in the competition, and you wouldn't have had a chance to win. Yeah. So basically, that's excellent that you're focused and you're dedicated in anything really. We're talking to Ismail here today, but it could be anything. Somebody might be a mountain bike rider. Somebody might be doing karate. Somebody may be doing some sort of other sport. And in dedication, even if you bring it down to normal stuff like a day-to-day reading your Quran. If you don't read the Quran, you're not going to finish it, are you?
Exactly.
So it's Ramadan gives us that little bit of a motivation and dedication that we can carry that on. So just a couple of more questions, if you don't mind. We got a couple of minutes left before we finish this segment. What is the hardest thing about wrestling?
The hardest thing about wrestling, I would say, is one of the hardest things is kind of waking up super early, like probably 5 or 4 in the morning to get to the destination. And
Yeah, so the competitions are all around the UK.
Yeah.
And it's hard work. You have to wake up early. I'll drive there. I'll let him sleep in the car. We have to get there, weigh in by a certain time. And like I was saying before, the wrestling competitions, you have like 3-4 matches in a day. And they'll go about throughout the day. So it's a full day of constant warming up, cooling down, mental tiredness, physical tiredness. And yeah, it is a character builder itself.
Now that's very, 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 very inspirational, Ismail. Did you know, Abdullah, Ismail, did you guys know that wrestling was a sunnah?
no,
You didn't know?
I did
No?
not know.
Dad, did you know?
Yes, I did know, and that's one of the reasons why I got him into it as well. Because I know the Prophet ﷺ, he wrestled as well, and he encouraged his Sahabas to wrestle. So again, it's good for self-defense, good for fitness, and everything else what comes with it. Again, like I said, it's such a tough sport, and I would recommend it to anyone, kids or adults, to get into.
And I think the Prophet, he did archery and swimming.
That's right. So wrestling was one.
Archery and swimming.
And swimming. What else was there?
I think
do you know?
horse riding. Horse riding.
Horse riding.
Horse riding. I'm riding like a horse over here. Right. Look, it's been a pleasure having you. We're just wrapping up to our end of the segment now. It's been a pleasure to have you guys here. We've had a couple of people on WhatsApp. Mustafa and Naya, thank you very much for your competition, for entering into the riddles. It's been a pleasure to have you, Ismail. And the doors are always open. If you want to come again and you want to talk to us, we're more than happy, Dad. The options there, and
Great stuff.
it's about inspiring youngsters and getting them to get involved. And if any of our listeners have any more questions, I'm happy for you to send them through to us, and we can share them with our guests. Abdullah, did you want to say something?
Shall I tell the answer?
We'll wait for the second.
Oh.
We'll wait at just before 6 o'clock when we finish our last hour. So, no, anything you want to say, Ismail? Any shout outs you want to give?
I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Desire.
Yeah.
My other friend Nathaniel.
Okay.
That's not me.
That's not you.
My
Fair enough. No, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Right, look, it's been a pleasure having you guys on. Now we're going to transition to our break. So until next time, take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Islam.